My name is Margaret Sullivan and I am 65 years old. I am a retired pastry chef, a widow of 10 years and a mother of 3. My husband, Thomas, passed away from a stroke when our children were grown and out of the house. He was the love of my life, the father of my children, and the only person who ever truly understood me. I spent my entire adult life working in kitchens. I worked my way up from dishwasher to executive pastry chef. I built a reputation. I built a career. I built a life. I thought I had raised my children right. I thought they loved me. I thought they would always be there for me the way I had always been there for them. But life has a way of showing you the truth when you least expect it. And sometimes, the truth is more painful than you could ever imagine. My children are all grown now. My oldest, Marcus, is 42. He's a financial advisor. He makes good money. He drives a nice car. He lives in a nice house. He has a wife and 2 children. My middle child, Jennifer, is 38. She's a marketing executive. She's successful. She's ambitious. She's married to a lawyer. My youngest, Daniel, is 35. He's a teacher. He's kind. He's generous. He's the one who reminds me most of his father. I love all my children. I have always loved all my children. I have always been proud of them. I have always supported them. I have always been there for them, but somewhere along the way something changed. They started to see me differently. They started to see me as old. They started to see me as a burden. They started to see me as someone to be managed rather than loved. It started small. They stopped calling as often. They stopped visiting as often. They stopped including me in their plans. They would have family gatherings and forget to invite me. They would go on vacations and not tell me. They would make decisions about my life without consulting me. They treated me like I was invisible. They treated me like I didn't matter. I tried to ignore it. I tried to be understanding. I knew they had their own lives. I knew they were busy. I knew they had their own families to take care of. But it hurt. Every snub, every slight, every forgotten invitation. It hurt. And then came the dinner that changed everything. It was a Sunday evening in October. My children had decided to take me out for my birthday. I was turning 65. It was a milestone. I was excited. I was looking forward to spending time with my family. I was looking forward to feeling loved and appreciated. I was looking forward to a nice meal with the people I loved most. They chose a restaurant, a fancy one, the kind with white tablecloths and candles and waiters in tuxedos, the kind where a meal for 6 people could easily cost over $1,000. I was surprised. My children had never been so generous before. I was touched. I thought they had finally realized how much I meant to them. We sat down at the table. The restaurant was beautiful, the food was exquisite, the conversation was pleasant. For a few hours I felt like I was part of a family again. I felt like I mattered. I felt like I was loved. Marcus talked about his latest client. Jennifer talked about her big promotion. Daniel talked about his students. They were all doing so well. They were all so successful. I was proud of them. I was so proud. But then the meal ended. The plates were cleared. The dessert was served and my children started to get restless. Marcus checked his watch. Jennifer checked her phone. Daniel looked uncomfortable. Something was wrong. Something was about to happen. "Mom," Marcus said, "we have to go. We have an early meeting tomorrow." "Mom," Jennifer said, "we have to pick up the kids from the babysitter." "Mom," Daniel said, "I have to grade papers tonight." I looked at them. I could see the guilt in their eyes. I could see the lies on their faces. They were leaving. They were all leaving, and they were leaving me with the bill. "Mom," Marcus said, "we'll get the next one, we promise." I watched them get up from the table. I watched them walk away. I watched them leave me alone with the waiter and the bill and the wreckage of my heart, my own children, my own flesh and blood. They had brought me to a restaurant for my birthday and they had left me with the bill. I sat there frozen as the door closed behind them. I could see them through the window. Marcus was already on his phone. Jennifer was laughing at something. Daniel was looking at the ground. They didn't look back. They didn't wave. They just disappeared into the night. The waiter came over. He handed me the check. I looked at it, $1,247.63. I felt the blood drain from my face. I felt the tears prick at my eyes. I felt the familiar sting of being used, of being taken advantage of being an afterthought. My hands were trembling as I held the leather folder. I could hear my own heartbeat in my ears. The restaurant was still buzzing around me, but I felt completely alone. I paid the bill. I didn't have a choice. I didn't want to make a scene. I didn't want to embarrass myself, so I paid it. I took out my credit card. I signed the receipt. I left a generous tip because I was too proud to do anything else. The waiter smiled at me. He probably thought I was a wealthy woman treating her family to a nice dinner. He had no idea that I was a mother who had just been abandoned by her own children. And then I went home. I sat in my empty house. I stared at the walls. I thought about my children. I thought about my life. I thought about everything I had sacrificed for them. I thought about all the years I had worked. I thought about all the sleepless nights and the missed birthdays and the endless stress. I had done it all for my family. I had done it all for my children. And now they had left me with the bill. I walked through the house, touching the furniture, looking at the photographs. There was a picture of Thomas on the mantel. He was smiling. He always smiled. He had been the kindest man I had ever known. He would have been devastated if he had seen what his children had done to me. He would have been furious, but he wasn't here. He was gone, and I was alone. I sat down in my favorite chair. It was old and worn, but it was comfortable. It had been Thomas's chair. I would sit in it sometimes when I missed him. I would close my eyes and pretend he was still there. But tonight it just felt empty. Everything felt empty. I thought about calling my children. I thought about yelling at them. I thought about demanding an apology, but I knew it wouldn't change anything. They had made their choice. They had shown me who they really were, and I had to accept it. The next morning I woke up with a resolve I hadn't felt in years. I was not going to let them get away with this. I was not going to let them treat me like a doormat. I was not going to let them take advantage of me. I was going to teach them a lesson. I was going to show them that their actions had consequences. I sat at my kitchen table with a cup of tea and thought about my options. I could confront them. I could cut them off. I could write them out of my will. I could do something drastic. But I wanted to be smart about this. I wanted to be strategic. I wanted to make sure that they understood exactly what they had done. I called my lawyer. Her name was Patricia Morrison, and she had been handling my legal affairs for years. She was sharp, tough, and fiercely loyal to her clients. She had helped me through Thomas's death, through the probate process, through everything. She was the only person I trusted completely. "Margaret," she said, "I heard what happened. I'm so sorry. I can't believe your children would treat you like that." "Neither can I said. "But they did, and now I need your help. I need to know what my rights are. I need to know if I can protect myself from them." "Margaret," she said, "you have rights. You have options. You don't have to let them treat you this way. You can fight back. You can protect yourself. You can make sure they never take advantage of you again." "What do you suggest?" I asked. "First," she said, "stop giving them money. Stop paying for things. Stop letting them use you. Second, update your will. Make sure they understand that their actions have consequences. And third, consider taking a step back. Give yourself some space. Let them feel what it's like to not have you in their lives." I felt a sense of relief wash over me. I felt a sense of hope. I felt a sense of strength. I knew that I had a long fight ahead of me. I knew that my children would do everything they could to make me feel guilty. But I also knew that I had to stand up for myself. I had to protect myself. I had to make sure they never treated me like that again. "Patricia," I said, "I want to update my will. I want to change everything. I want them to know that their actions have consequences." "Are you sure?" she asked. "This is a big decision. This is a permanent decision." "I'm sure," I said. "I've never been more sure about anything in my life. My children abandoned me. They left me with a $1,200 bill on my own birthday. They don't deserve anything, and they're not getting anything." "Okay," Patricia said. "I'll draw up the paperwork, but I want you to think about this carefully. Once this is done, it can't be undone." "I'll think about it," I said, "but I'm not going to change my mind." I hung up the phone. I felt a sense of peace wash over me. I had made a decision. I was going to protect myself. I was going to make sure my children understood that their actions had consequences. Over the next 2 weeks, I didn't call my children. I didn't text them. I didn't respond to their messages. I needed space. I needed time to think. I needed time to heal. I also wanted them to wonder. I wanted them to worry. I wanted them to realize that they had made a terrible mistake. At first, they didn't seem to notice. They were busy with their own lives. They had their own problems. They didn't need me. But as the days passed, I started to get messages. Little texts, casual phone calls. They were trying to figure out what was going on. They were trying to see if I was still angry. "Mom, haven't heard from you in a while. Everything okay? Mom, the kids are asking about you. When are you coming to visit? Mom, we should have dinner again soon. My treat this time." I read the messages. I didn't respond. I needed them to feel my absence. I needed them to understand that I wasn't just going to forgive and forget. I needed them to realize that I was a person with feelings, not a resource to be used and discarded. And then my phone rang. It was Marcus. Mom, he said, we need to talk. Can we come over? What about? I asked. Just let us come over, please. It's important. I agreed. I was curious. I was also a little worried. I didn't know what they wanted. I didn't know what they were going to say. I didn't know if they were going to apologize or make excuses or blame me. When they arrived, they looked terrible. Marcus was pale. Jennifer was crying. Daniel looked like he hadn't slept in days. They all looked like they had been through something terrible. Mom, Marcus said, we need your help. We're in trouble. Trouble, I said. What kind of trouble? Marcus explained. His firm had been investigated for fraud. He was going to lose his job. He was going to lose everything. Jennifer's husband had lost his job. They were drowning in debt. Daniel's school was cutting funding. He was going to be laid off. We're losing everything, Mom, Marcus said. We need your help. We need money. We need support. We need you. I looked at my children. I saw the fear in their eyes. I saw the desperation. I saw the realization that they had made a terrible mistake. They had treated me like a burden and now they needed me. Mom, Jennifer said, please, we're sorry. We're so sorry for everything. We were wrong. We were selfish. We were cruel, but we need you now. Please help us. Mom, Daniel said, I know we don't deserve your help. I know we haven't been good children. But you're our mother. We need you. Please don't turn your back on us. I sat down at my kitchen table. I looked at my children. I thought about everything they had done. I thought about the dinner. I thought about the bill. I thought about all the years of neglect and disrespect. But I also thought about all the years of love. I thought about the good times. I thought about the family we used to be. I thought about Thomas. I thought about what he would have wanted me to do. And then I made a decision. I will help you, I said. But on one condition, you have to learn to respect me. You have to learn to treat me like a person. You have to learn to appreciate what I've done for you. And you have to promise that you will never, ever treat me like a burden again. We promise, Marcus said. We promise we'll change. We promise we'll be better. We promise. I believe you, I said. But I need to see it. I need to see you change. I need to see you treat me with respect. I need to see you be the family I know you can be. We will, Jennifer said. We'll prove it to you. We'll show you that we've changed. Mom, Daniel said, I love you. I've always loved you. I'm so sorry for everything. Please forgive me. I looked at my children. I saw the regret in their eyes. I saw the love. I saw the hope. And I knew that I had to help them. I was their mother. I loved them. I would always love them. I helped them. I gave them money. I gave them support. I gave them everything I had. And slowly they started to rebuild their lives. Marcus found a new job. Jennifer's husband found a new job. Daniel got a new position at a different school. They were going to be okay. But more importantly, they changed. They started calling more often. They started visiting more often. They started including me in their plans. They started treating me like a person, not a burden. They started to show me the respect I deserved. It wasn't easy. There were still moments of tension. There were still moments of hurt, but we were trying. We were all trying, and that was what mattered. One Sunday, Marcus called me. Mom, we want to take you out for dinner. Just the family, my treat, no tricks. No leaving you with the bill, just a nice dinner with the people who love you. I smiled. That sounds wonderful, sweetheart. I'd love that. We went to a nice restaurant, not as fancy as the last one, but nice. The food was good. The conversation was warm. And when the bill came, Marcus grabbed it before I could even see it. Mom, this one's on me, he said, and every other meal from now on. I felt tears prick at my eyes. Thank you, Marcus. No, he said. Thank you, Mom, for everything, for forgiving us, for helping us, for loving us. We don't deserve you. But we're going to spend the rest of our lives trying to deserve you. I am Margaret Sullivan. I am 66 years old. I am a retired pastry chef, a widow and a mother. I was abandoned by my children at a restaurant on my birthday. They left me with a $1,247 bill. But 2 weeks later they came back. They were desperate, they were broken, and they needed my help. I helped them, I forgave them, I loved them because that's what mothers do. We forgive, we love, we help, even when we've been hurt. I could have turned my back on them, I could have let them suffer, I could have watched them fail, but I didn't because they were my children, and I will always love them. If you're watching this, please subscribe and share. And remember, sometimes the people who hurt us the most are the ones who need us the most. Sometimes forgiveness is the hardest thing to give, but it's also the most powerful. I am Margaret Sullivan. I am a survivor, and I will never let anyone make me feel like a burden again. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a family to take care of.